Good evening and welcome to City Limits, the show that provides you with information about the people, places, and events that shape the character of our community. Joining me tonight is Lisa Kuntz, area engineer north of MODOT, Missouri Department of Transportation. Everybody wants to hear from you because we got a lot of things going on in North County this year.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, Mayor. We have a lot of projects up in North County. We actually have 16 projects going on in our area this summer, so you'll see a lot of construction, and I'm here to talk about a project on 270, and it's really going to impact the community as we're trying to get in and get some work done.
Yeah, so people can expect slowdowns and whatever until they get it done. Then once it's all done, it's going to be fabulous, right?
That's right. That's right. So.
Well, I've been enjoying, you guys have been working on 170. I go to work and I go down 170 every day, and I noticed they've been overlaying it. All the potholes are fixed, and it's great. So once 270 is done, North County is going to be in good shape.
Yeah, that's definitely one of our many projects. We're coordinating all of our projects. This project on 270 at New Halls Ferry and New Florissant, we're going to be doing a deck cab or a bridge deck repair on those bridges. We're coordinating that work with 170 and some other projects in the area to try to minimize the impact to our communities. So.
Well, let's kind of get into it. Let's talk about we'll talk about New Florissant first, and then we'll just move on down the line, and then we'll talk about what you're doing overall on 270 in North County.
Okay. Awesome. That sounds great.
Okay, so let's start with New Florissant. They're going to fix the bridge and...
Yes, we're actually doing what's called a structural overlay. Basically, we're going to go in and we're going to mill off the driving surface, and we're going to use that existing deck as a form to put a structural overlay on it. This type of repair will hopefully get us about 10 more years of usable lives out of those structures. If you recall, I've been here in the past to talk about those structures were built in the 1960s. Those bridges are over 50 years old. We need to get in there and do some repairs to extend those lives of those bridges till we have enough funding to go in there and replace them and make operational and safety improvements at those interchanges. So that's the work that's going to be done this summer at 270 at New Florissant.
Okay.
And
when they do the structural overlay, is that they just mill down a certain amount of the concrete, put new concrete on it, and then do they do anything to the bridge structure itself, or? No,
we're just going to be putting a new overlay, and this is a little bit different than a typical overlay. We're going to be putting some fiber, steel fiber in it so it'll become it'll be the deck then that you drive on it. It'll have structural integrity. So it's important. We're not going to be going in and doing any work underneath, especially at New Florissant. We have some fencing on the underneath that collects concrete that falls down from the deck. That'll still be there because that old concrete will still continue to fall in places, but we won't have any full depth holes anymore. Unfortunately, since spring started, we've had to have our maintenance crews out there. Between the bridge at New Florissant and the New Halls Ferry, we've been out there over a dozen times doing emergency repairs. This is much needed work. We need to get in there and do these overlays so that we don't have to be out there as often. So
basically, the top's going to be fixed and the bottom's going to still do what
it does. It is. And so, in order to do this work, and one of the reasons we're meeting with you is, or taking this opportunity to talk to you, is we're going to have to do some detouring. So we have to. Basically, what we'll do is we'll take westbound 270, and it'll stay on 270 for the first stage of construction. We're going to be working on that westbound bridge. So it's a real technical word here, we're going to wiggle westbound traffic onto the eastbound lanes. We'll have 3 lanes going westbound at New Florissant, and then we're going to be starting next week, we're going to start widening the ramps at New Florissant so we could take 2 eastbound lanes down. It'll go down, go across the intersection and back up onto 270, and it'll be barricaded off. Eastbound 270 will have no access to New Florissant Road, meaning you can't make a right there to go into New Florissant. You can't make a right onto eastbound 270. You'll still have access to westbound 270 at New Florissant, but you won't have any access to or from eastbound 270 at that location.
So basically, you're going to still be driving on 270 when you're going west. When you're going east, you're going to be on 270, cross what is currently New Florissant Road down there where the light is, and then
Go back up. So in order to do that, we're going to have to close New Florissant Road at 270. New Florissant Road will be closed between Dunn Road and Jean Avenue. If you're heading northbound if you're heading north towards 270 on New Florissant Road, you'll be forced to make a left and detour around to Pershaw, to Hanley Graham, and then back to Dunn Road. And vice versa, if you're headed south from the north, south on New Florissant Road, you'll either make a left or a right onto Dunn and take you either to Hanley Graham or to Washington Elizabeth. And that's how you'll access eastbound 272, either via Washington Elizabeth or Hanley Graham exits.
That's going to have fun on Google Maps, isn't it?
It is.
To do that.
Well, we have all of our detours, all of our maps on our website. We encourage residents to go to our website to get those detour maps to kind of help you figure out how to get around. In addition, all these routes will be signed, so there'll be signed detours during construction.
Good.
So.
Now, how long they'll be working at that point? They'll be working on what, the east side? They'll be working on, south side. They'll be working on the south side during that time, right?
We'll start on the westbound bridge, and then we'll do the eastbound bridge.
Okay, so
overall, the contractor will have 20 days or it's about a month to complete that work. So
both sides or just one side?
Both sides. They'll have to get in and complete that work over that month period. They'll do the westbound bridge and then the eastbound bridge. And we're actually staging that work at the same time as New Halls Ferry. They're going to be fixing both of those structures at the same time for the month of July. We anticipate the closure. So when are we going to do the big wiggle and then go down and back up on the ramps? We're anticipating it to begin on Friday, July 10th. And once again, lasting for about a month. This is a lot of work to be done in a short period of time. But we're using incentives for the contractor, trying to get them to hopefully get done early. Also, when we went out to bid on this project, we used a type of bidding process that only took into account the low bid, but also took into account how many days the contractor thought it would take them to complete it, and we took a value to that. So the combination of that, what project the low cost and can get it done the quickest, that's who we want doing this project, and that's who we awarded the project to. So really trying to minimize the impacts to traffic in the region.
What happens if it keeps raining like it's been doing for the last week and a half?
I say we're gonna hopefully
20
take
days,
that.
20 nights, what are we gonna do?
Let's hopefully that won't happen, and at that time we'll have to take that into account. But I'm going to remain positive because that's what I do, and hopefully we're going to get this done, and get out as quickly as possible. So part of what we're doing is we've required the contractor to hire a traffic consultant to come in and make modifications to the signals. We realize there's going to be a lot of traffic on Dunn, Pershaw Road, and at those cross streets. So we're requiring them to go in and make modifications to the signal timing and efforts to get traffic moving. We're reducing eastbound 270 to 2 lanes. We anticipate significant delays, especially in the PM rush on eastbound 270, and as well in the morning, up to 30-minute delays. If motorists can avoid the area, look for alternate routes, avoid rush hour, I should say, that'll help minimize those delays. So, anything you can think of is if there's another route you could take, or maybe instead of leaving at 5 o'clock, wait till a little bit later or go a little earlier. Anything, if we can encourage motorists to try to change their patterns, hopefully the impacts to the daily commute won't be as significant.
Okay.
So.
Now when they do the wiggle on the westbound, do they move the wiggle over to the eastbound then?
So
When they start doing the
so you'll
eastbound
wiggle.
deck?
So and that's why we're doing westbound first, So you'll wiggle onto eastbound 270 and come back, and then once westbound 270, so it should take half of that time. Once that's done, we'll then put westbound 70 back into their permanent location on westbound 270.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll remove those median crossovers, and so westbound will be where it's going to be at, and then we'll work on eastbound. But during that time, eastbound traffic will still go down the ramp through the cross street and back up.
Okay.
And we're actually doing the same thing at New Halls Ferry. It'll be the exact same construction where we'll wiggle westbound 270, it'll remain 3 lanes onto eastbound as we're repairing the westbound bridge, and we'll take that ramp down to New Halls Ferry and then to go back up. If you can think about that interchange, there's no ramp right now to eastbound 270. So beginning that Monday after 4th of July holiday, the contractor will take that week, that 2 or 3 days out of that week to build that ramp. We'll close that part of Pershaw Road. You won't be able to go on Pershaw between New Halls Ferry and Old Halls Ferry during this construction. That'll close. We'll build that ramp up to 270, and then that Friday or Saturday night is when we anticipate doing the big closure. We want, one of the reasons we're trying to do it over Friday night is then hopefully it'll give locals a couple days to get used to those changes, and that way not to have hopefully such a significant impact on that Monday commute.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
So now let's assume I'm going to Illinois. What's going to happen to me is I'm going to have to get off, go down, cross New Florissant Road, get back on 270, go down and cross New Halls Ferry and get back on.
Exactly.
So I've actually got two potential things. Now, how wide is that going to be? 2 lanes?
It'll be 2 lanes. So eastbound will remain 2 lanes. They're going to be about typical lanes, 12-foot lanes. It'll be narrow going down, but I believe the speed limit will be roughly around 40 miles per hour as you go down and up. So it'll be barricaded off. It's interstate traffic. That's once again why we cannot allow at New Halls Ferry. You will not be allowed to make a right on New Halls Ferry. It's interstate traffic. You won't be able to make a right into it. It's just getting it down because we need to keep that traffic moving. If we allowed those conflict points, it would just...
a truck coming off there and they'd never be able to stop.
They'd never be able to. Yeah, exactly. So that's why it'll just flow, and you'll have to use West Florissant and Old Halls Ferry, to access 270 and to make that north to south movements.
I want to take and get a picture of 2 semis going down and up one of those ramps. Those aren't very wide, so that's going to be interesting.
So one of the things we're doing, and I'm glad you brought that up, is we've reached out to our group in MODOT called Motor Carriers, 270 north in St. Louis. So typically if you're going through St. Louis, you take 70 to 370 to 270 to get to Illinois. Well, we have reached out to the motor carriers, and they are spreading the word to freight that you might want to take alternate routes, and they're suggesting taking 70 to Stanspan, the new Stanspan, to get across the river. So, but there's a lot of work going on in St. Louis this summer. We're doing work at other locations.
There's work going on down that area.
Yes, there is. But then we have a new bridge, so hopefully that'll to help relieve some of that traffic. If we can, we feel if we could reduce traffic by about 25% during peak rush hours, hopefully the delays will not be as significant. One of the things that we've went and made drop-offs to all the businesses. You'll still have access. 270s open through the area, the region, and you'll have access to all of the businesses along New Halls Ferry and at New Florissant as well. So kind of another message, you'll still be able to get to them. So. Okay.
Now are they doing at New Halls Ferry, are they doing the same thing, fixing the bridge the same way? And
it's a structural...
They have the same problem there where the concrete's cracking out?
It's a little different. It's a different type of structure, but yes, that's the same thing. We're doing the structural overlay in an effort to get us 10 more years of usable life. That bridge is just as old as New Florissant. It needs to be repaired, When we go in and put a new bridge in there, we want to have enough funding to make those transportation improvements, add sidewalks and add capacity and make operational safety improvements at those interchanges, and we need, the extra funding for that.
Let me ask this question. I'll ask the question about the 10,000-pound elephant in the room. This change or this update is good for 10 years. What's MODOT going to do if the citizens don't do something to either get a gas tax, a toll road, somehow to get funding to MODOT? What's going to happen in 10 years? Because there's about you and I were talking before we went on the air here, there's about a 5-year cycle to even get started. So let's assume we don't do anything for 3 years. You're into 8 years at that point where that bridges is going to be a problem again. So
yeah, and hopefully we'll have the funding to do those improvements. MODOT will close a bridge before it becomes unsafe, or what will happen is we'll build the exact same bridge. We'll replace it in kind because we won't have any money to expand our system. Currently, we're not expanding our system. So if we went in there today and our new direction, we would put the same number of lanes underneath on Newhall's Ferry, same number of lanes on 270. So that is an option to go in there.
But that's assuming you have the money
and
to do
still,
that.
You're correct. And right now, we have enough money to take care of our primary system, which is those interstate routes, and we're using our construction funding for that. But let's hope that we can find additional funding.
I would assume, the bottom line is the residents of the state of Missouri need to pay attention to what's really happening, because you can't just flip a switch and fix it.
Unfortunately,
and I mean,
yes.
this is kind of ideally, I would assume that if MODOT had the money, they'd replace the whole bridge because of the problem underneath.
Yes. Ideally,
I would assume that's what you would normally do.
And we would want to make those improvements not only at New Florissant and at Newhall's Ferry, but on 270, on Dunn Road with those two-way slip ramps. There's a lot of improvements, adding capacity, adding our sidewalks. That all is additional cost. And if we replace that bridge in kind, then we're not going to come back. That bridge will be there for 50 years. And then it's almost too late to add that capacity and make those operational changes that are good for the community. So
the other side of the coin with that too is seismic, structural strengthening. Those bridges were built before any of those regulations were in effect. I mean, so I doubt very much, I'm sure they have some, when they design MODOT, I'm sure when they design the bridge, they do something. They factor some safety in there, but, at that point years ago, it's kind of like a house. Houses were built with some of that in mind, but if you have a big earthquake or, a reasonably moderate earthquake, doesn't do good.
Yeah.
So I would think that that's another thing people need to consider. I mean, we're in an earthquake zone.
Yes, we are.
It is here in St. Louis. All right, let's get back to this. What this whole thing is going to take at both areas approximately a month.
A month.
A little bit, around a month.
Around a month, yes. And so when we looked at this, we really debated on how we should do this work, and we decided it's best, we're going to impact the community. Let's get in. Let's use all those incentives to get the work done as quickly as possible and get out, because we know it has to be done. So let's get in and get out as quickly as possible. So we're anticipating about a month to get it done.
Sounds good. I mean, I think we're very fortunate in getting this done at this particular time with everything going on.
Yeah, and we also intentionally put it in the summer months. We wanted, New Florissant's right next to McClure High School. We looked at that and decided that, and plus, July is our construction month. The summer is when we can work long hours and we can get a lot of work done really quickly. So we're like, let's get it done in July, have least impact to our bus schedule, and traffic's a little lighter during the summer. So we felt like that we had a lot of things working for us. Why we put it in that contract, and we talked about the other work in the region. We said, we know this is going to have significant impacts to traffic. This comes first. This project takes number one. So we're doing this work, and then we're going to be doing work after we get this completed at different areas on 270 and 70 in the region. But this takes precedent over that work. So.
The area between where you've got these two is junior colleges there.
Yeah,
too.
exactly,
So
exactly. We have colleges. We just there's a lot going on, and one of the reasons why we decided, we were looking at it, it made sense to make westbound 3 lanes for multiple reasons, but you're looking at different alternative routes. Where can you send people? And it's really Dunn Road or Lindbergh, or they make a different decision at 70 and 270, possibly going in, a different route. So we took all those things into account when we were trying to determine the traffic control plan for this project.
Are they going to put signage over in Illinois?
We are. So that's an
alternate
awesome
route would be Highway 40 and across the...
We're going to say we have work at this location. Once again, we're reaching out to motor carriers. We're going to use a local plan. We'll use local CMS boards. A lot of residents probably have seen those flashing in the area already, telling them that work's going to be going, but we're also going to use those, they're DMS boards, those big boards on the interstate. We're going to go far as back at 70 and 64, try to get some of that through traffic to make a different decision, have them go down 70 instead of taking 270 to the north. So yes, we are trying to tackle this thing in multiple perspectives, regionally and moving out. So
as many trucks that are on 270, it's significant.
It's significant.
The more trucks you got, the lower traffic's going to be, because a truck does not get up and move as quick as a car does.
Yes.
So once they got to stop completely, and if it's start and stop, it takes quite a while for a truck to maneuver through there. What else is going on in the north area here?
The north area, well, we have a lot of what I would consider take care of the system projects. We're doing that resurfacing on 170. We're doing a resurfacing on Lindbergh between 70 and 270. We're doing a resurfacing project on 270 in between 70 and Lindbergh as well this summer. Another major project we're doing in the area is we have 15 bridges at the 270 interchange, where we're going to be doing some work on all those bridges this summer as well. That'll stop while we're doing the work here at New Florissant and New Halls Ferry. We have work on 70, and as well as we're doing the 2 projects that come to kind of to my mind that aren't take care of the system. Our project on Page Avenue, we're going to be adding a lane in between 270 and Lindbergh, kind of by Schutz Avenue there, and then some work on Natural Bridge by UMSL. So we're still working on that work, and just a lot of take care of the system projects, which is good leading into our funding situation, because we're just not going to have enough money to take care of our entire system. So it's good that we're getting our roads and the roads in North County in good shape leading up to that. So and then up to some of that unknown.
The plans for this stuff was done years ago?
Yes, we've been working on this for a long time. I mean, part of the study that I think I talked to you about, we were really hoping that we'd find a way to fund a larger project. Once again, this is kind of a Band-Aid. This is going to get us 10 more years, and that's about it. And then we're going to have to, hopefully, we're going to have to make the decision, place it in kind, or can we do a little bit more at that point? So,
it's a big decision.
It is a big decision. At least we have a little more time.
Hopefully, the powers to be, or the people that have control of the decision, will see that, hey, people need to get around. They need to go to work. It impacts you going to work. If somebody has a heart attack, it really makes a big impact very quickly.
Exactly.
And if you can't get where you need to go quickly, so it's good.
One of the things that I did want to mention as part of this project is we are also taking down the PED bridge in between New Florissant and in Washington Elizabeth that goes to McClure High School. It's
One
over
over the road.
270 there. We intend to do that on June 20th, Saturday, June 20th. It is weather dependent, and you've mentioned that we're getting a lot of rain, so hopefully we're going to be able to get that work done on June 20th. If we don't, it may need to be moved back to August. But in order to take down that bridge, what we're going to have to do is we're going to actually close 270 on a Saturday night at 11 p.m. and it's going to be closed for 8 hours while we demo the bridge and remove it. And then, so what traffic will do is it'll detour on Dunn Road. So we'll close it at Washington Elizabeth, we'll close it at New Florissant, and traffic eastbound will detour on Dunn Road back to Washington Elizabeth and get on to eastbound 270 and vice versa. We're going to be using a lot of law enforcement because it's just an 8-hour closure. We're not going to be putting up a lot of concrete barrier. We're going to use, traffic control devices, but we're really going to count on law enforcement to help us direct traffic. Once again, we're going to have 270 traffic, even though it's in the middle of the night on a Saturday night. Driving on Dunn Road, we're going to close both New Florissant and Washington Elizabeth at 270. Once again, we just can't have that local traffic trying to merge with interstate traffic. So it's going to be a lot of work that needs to get done one way or another. We're going to have a lane open on 270 in each direction. It comes 7 o'clock Sunday morning, and we're really asking everybody, if they can avoid the area, because it's just you're gonna come up against a lot of delays because of this work that we're doing this weekend.
Okay. Let me ask a question. I've got some fact sheets of what's happening and a map here. Can we put a link on our website to MODOT?
Yes.
So if anybody wants to get this, they can get it?
Please do, and it has our information, it has our contact information on there. If anybody has any questions, if they need to contact us anytime, they can. You can always call 1-888-ASK-MODOT and talk to our customer service, and they'll be able to answer questions and kind of help you get through this construction.
Okay, yeah, well, we'll put a link out there, and we'll also put on our broadcaster, we'll put what the link is so people can.
That'd be awesome. So the more people we can, I feel like the more people we could spread this word to, so everybody could think about, hey, I need to put a little bit more time in my commute. It's going to take me longer to get to work. It's going to take me a little longer to get home. The better we're going to be. The less people we take by surprise, the better. So.
Well, you'll catch somebody by surprise.
Oh,
You're going to get a call. You're going to get a call Monday saying, "What are you guys doing? It took me 2 hours to get to work," or whatever. I didn't know this was happening. That inevitably will happen. Well, good luck with it.
Oh, thank you.
Lisa?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the interview, and we'll get this on the air as soon as possible, and we'll put that link out there.
Oh, great. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for watching our show today. If you have any questions for me, you can contact me at www.cityofblackjack.com, or you can call me at area code 314-355-0400, extension 100. Thank you. Good evening.
The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah!
The spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun.
And a farmer's wife, she climbed that house with the clover now. Did you ever see such a thing in your life as 3 blind mice? 3 blind mice.
Marine Corps Sergeant Andy Robinson was paralyzed when his Humvee was blown up in Iraq. Paralyzed Veterans of America helped Andy get all the health care and benefits he's entitled to. To support paralyzed veterans, go to pva.org.
The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah!
The spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun.
And the farmer's wife, she climbed up that house